Welcome to chapter 20 already of World's Longest Suicide Note. Yeah, I can't believe it's already number 20. Wow. I actually kind of dig these things, so there's going to be a whole bunch of them. It's unexpectedly making me feel better. And so I guess the premise of this whole situation is to talk and not kill myself. So it's working so far. So that's great. And I'm able to say some things that I needed to say. So it's a win-win. And if anyone gets anything out of them, then it's a win-win-win. It's a triple win. Anyway, my name's Roger. And while I am suicidal at times, sometimes often, I am in no way a healthcare professional or a clown. I don't really like clowns. Yeah, but I'm going to be painting a clown face. This is the start of the next painting. And this is one that is kind of going along the premise of me kind of explaining and visually some of the things that I felt my whole life. So more about this painting as it goes. Probably not today, but because we're not going to get a lot done today. We're just going to start outlining it. But what I did think I would talk about, or try to talk about, because a lot of the things that I start talking about, I haven't thought it through in the sense where I have prepared mental notes that I want to actually address. And sometimes I get done with one of these videos and I'm like, did I even say anything? Did I say anything that was of value to even myself? Because I go into it with an idea. It's like, I kind of want to go down this road, but then I don't know how that's going to translate. Once I start flapping my gums. So, but I want to talk about what it means to feel suicidal. Because that's something that's even hard for me to understand to a degree. So when I talk about some things, and when we were talking about environmental factors and just a general negative environment has an impact on mood, and can tip the scales, towards the feeling of being suicidal. I think at the end of the day, suicidal isn't a feeling. It's not something that I think the feelings trigger the desire and the thought process of suicidality and suicidal ideation. But as far as, it's not like you could define suicidal as an actual feeling. Somebody is suicidal or they're not suicidal. They maybe have suicidal thoughts or ideas, but it as a feeling, that what would that even look like if suicidal was a feeling? If I guess if I were to say I'm feeling suicidal or something makes me feel suicidal, such as doing my taxes. I hate taxes. And it's not a hatred of paying taxes. No, I mean, granted, I haven't met somebody who absolutely loves paying taxes. I understand the reason to pay taxes. And so I'm not. It's not a situation where I hate parting with that money or sending it to the government or feelings like that. That is not the case. It's the preparation and as a self-employed person, there's always this big, you know, you never see it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in my place that handle it way better, and they're on the ball and they know exactly and they have it down. It's always kind of a mystery to me. How much do we owe, and can we actually afford to pay the taxes? That kind of thing. But doing taxes, and the tax preparation for those is very mentally challenging for me, and it makes me feel suicidal. Again, understanding what is the feeling of suicidal. It makes me not want to do it anymore. And I guess suicidal is this feeling of inadequacy, coupled with hopelessness, that make it, you just don't want to be a part of it. You want to separate yourself from that forever. So it's and it stems from a helpless kind of situation. So while I would say, yeah, suicidal in and of itself probably isn't a feeling, it is based on a lot of feeling. And none of that feeling is good. It's the helpless, hopeless, the fear of what you don't know, the general malaise of kind of sorrow that that you'll never be adequate in this area. I mean, it snowballs. So yeah, so yes, suicidal is. I do say I have made that comment before where it makes me feel suicidal. But I guess what the better use of the word is, I don't want to go through that ever, and it makes me question a lot of other things that are going on, and before you know it, the idea is I don't ever have to do that again, which is an appealing thought, and then it kind of builds from there, and takes on a life of its own, so to speak. But it's really hard to what is it about the not having to deal with that, or having to deal with that, and trying to separate the emotion from that specific task, and it becomes something that, again, it's almost like an anxiety trigger. How we set up like anxiety traps for ourselves around activities we prefer not to do. When you know you're going to be facing a lot of challenge, you basically what happens is you mentally prepare for that. Well, by mentally preparing for that, by like whatever that is, you're saying I'm going into a battle, and it's gonna be tough, and I'm gonna have to, whatever you're saying. Well, that you're thinking about it, you're putting it out there, but you're also inviting anxiety, and the more you think about it, the more anxious you get, and so what basically happens is you've created this place so that, okay, you feel like you're in pregame, you're getting ready for whatever it is, but the next time you think about that, you're going to immediately start feeling anxious about it, because, and it may be a totally different situation, it may be a different situation altogether, but since you've already went into it and you've put a lot of thought and effort, and your anxiety got attached to that, every time you go to do the same thing, your anxiety is going to meet you there. And so I call it anxiety traps, because before I even get going, my anxiety's there, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm going into this situation, and it's going to be stressful, and it's going to cause some challenge, and so I've already invited anxiety to the party, and so it's just always there. So I've created a trap, and that trap will, until I deactivate it through like just absolute mindfulness and consciousness about it, and understanding that is not, I do not have to be that worked up every single time that I'm doing this one activity, whatever that is. Yeah, I mean, it's so easy. It's like when you open your phone and you go to the alarms, and you look, oh, I've over time, you have an alarm like every 5 minutes from like 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, so at any point, so all those old alarms that you had set over the years are still there. It's that same thing with your anxiety. All those things that you set, all those alarms, all those traps that you have, places that you've brought in anxiety to that, and you've attached it there, it's there. And so when you think about that thing, the first thing that you think about is the attachment of the anxiety. And so your anxiety starts, and you have to breathe through that, and you have to figure out, okay, what's going on, and you got to kind of, I mean, and sometimes you don't have time to like satiate the anxiety, so you just you carry it with you, and it's there through the process. So anxiety is a big one. So sometimes when you're painting, I have to be aware that I'm painting, then I put my hand in it and I spread it all over the place. So I touched it, so I'll try not to spread it. Anywho's, yeah, and so that anxiety is when I'm talking about taxes. So back to taxes. Yeah, I don't, even now just talking about them, because I know that it's coming on tax season. I don't like it, and when you don't like something, and it's so easy to go from anxiety to just suicidal thoughts. whenever those things come up. And that's one of the problems, is that we don't really manage the things that make us feel suicidal as much as we should. And so, again, suicide feelings. We don't feel suicidal. We feel anxious. We feel like we never want to deal with that again. And our mind just goes to suicide. I mean, and it's not abnormal, but every time that we think about it, and every time that we're exposing ourselves to that, it's just desensitizing ourselves a little bit more. And so, and there's a danger there, and that danger is you could desensitize yourself to a place where those thoughts and ideations turns to a more active approach to what's going on. And the whole idea is to stay as far away from the active side of suicidality as possible. Is to avoid just that whole neighborhood if you can. And then, but therein lies the rub, because things bring you back to that, and before you know it, it's so much easier. So when I think about taxes now, so every year I have to do taxes, and every year I'm going to be feeling that tug towards suicidal whenever I do my taxes. And I try to avoid, I try to do everything I can. But it's hard because I really don't, excuse me. The more I deal with it, the more I'm in that place. And so it's really hard to get better at that without putting myself in direct risk, because I'm dealing with that subject. So, and for many people it's different things. I mean, for me it's taxes. For other people it may be something else. But the more you deal with that, and I can't not deal with taxes. I mean, I would love to, but I know a certain organization who probably won't let me just say, this isn't healthy for me to do every year. Is there any way we can avoid that? Yeah, I don't see that being too productive. I could be wrong. We'll see. But that being said, I got it. So every year I'm going to deal with that. So I just have to understand that's what it's going to be. And we work through things. We just, the best that we can, with all the understanding we can, we just try to say, this is where I'm at. This is how I'm feeling today. And know that there will be a tomorrow if we just stay focused and get through it. But yeah, feelings of suicidal. So anyway, again, I'm finishing another one. I'm hoping something that I said made sense. Sometimes I don't know. but I have to say the things that I have to say. So hope you're doing well. Hope you're fighting hard and giving yourself another day. All right. You take care. We'll see you on the next on 21. All right.